Dalton Risner talked again on TikTok, and he opened up about a little bit more information. So let's start off and play this video. He's going to start off talking about the Minnesota Vikings and how they are interested in him, but then he gives a little bit more of tidbits to kind of go off of.
Yeah, Minnesota has shown interest in bringing me back, but only to an extent. I mean, they went out and signed a guard for a lot of money, so it'd have to be the other side of the ball. And Blake Brando's a heck of a football player, so I don't know what their plan would be with me, but if they're willing to work with me, I'm willing to work with them because I love Minnesota so much, and that's saying something. I would not say that for every team. I'm not on a team right now, Kylie, but I will be on a team soon, I could imagine. What do you guys think? Do you guys think it's the Minnesota Vikings? Do you guys think it's back to Denver? Do you guys think it's the Cincinnati Bengals? I don't know. If we get over 150 people on here, maybe I'll break some news. That'd be fun. McCarthy MVP. I don't know. Maybe I am signing with the Vikings. Maybe I'm not. I'm in talks with multiple teams, so we'll see what happens. We'll see where this journey leads us.
So that whole situation kind of sparked up a lot of talk, right? He said, hey, maybe I'll go to the Bengals. Maybe I'll go to the Vikings or Broncos. I kind of look at this as he's just keeping his options open. I don't think this is him particularly saying like, oh, yeah, well, the Bengals or this team and this team. He's just saying pretty much anyone who wants him, he's open to going to that said team. Now, again, he does say I'm in talks with multiple teams. Multiple would usually indicate more than two. So if he lists off 3 teams and he says I'm in talks with multiple teams, and in theory it would be, okay, well, he's in talks with probably the Broncos, Vikings, and Bengals. But it doesn't mean that, right? At the end of the day, he just kind of saying, hey, yeah, people are talking to me, teams are talking to me. We'll have to wait and see how this turns out, because at the end of the day, it could mean he's talking to the Bengals, but it could also mean he is just talking to, again, random teams. Like that, you got to keep this in mind when it comes to this kind of stuff, where it's like, yes, could it mean this, but no, maybe not. Like, again, it is very, very, he's keeping everything very vague, which I think is very important, especially when it comes to these situations, because sure, the Bengals and other teams don't want that information getting out there, especially if you're trying to get this guy for the cheapest price possible. You're trying to, kind of keep that all under wrap, right? So I don't think this is that big of a deal, to be honest. I don't think it's that crazy. I did see a lot of people on Twitter talking about this, saying, oh, this means he's talking to the Bengals. Listen, at the end of the day, the Bengals should sign him. And I think the fact he wants to go to the Bengals should be a message that he should be signed by the Bengals. But at the end of the day, the Bengals have, over and over again, the front office has rejected the idea of going after him, which, for whatever reason, is what they are deciding to do, and it seems like that's going to remain the same right now. Now, again, we have a draft in 8 days. We're going to probably draft an offensive guard. Maybe 1, maybe 2. But if we are going to sign anyone, it's not going to happen until after the NFL draft goes through. That's just kind of how it is. We're going to see what the NFL draft does for us, who we get, who we don't get. And depending on how that situation goes, we will decide if we want to pursue another player like Dalton Risner or not. Now, me personally, you already know my stance. I want to sign him right now. I want to sign him. I want to sign Will Hernandez. If Brandon Sheriff doesn't want to play because of, like he wants to retire, whatever, I at least want him and Hernandez, bring him to the squad, have him as a starting left and right guard, go into the draft a backup, have them sit behind these guys, have Scott Peters work on the backup, and kind of go on from there, right? You can never have too much depth at the offensive line or defensive line. You got to win in the trenches, most important position. But same time, I'm trying to be more realistic to what the Bengals are going to do. And what the Bengals are going to do is they're going to wait to see what their options are, and that's pretty much that. Now, he does say that he believes that he will be on a team sometime soon, But the way, if you listen to the way he says it, it's kind of more like he's kind of, again, talking very broad with it. I assume I'll be on the team soon. Like, I assume a team was going to sign me sometime soon. And especially with the draft coming up in 8 days, within the next month or so, he'll probably get signed to a team. Once the draft's ended, teams go in free agency. And whether it's the Bengals, Vikings, or whatever, somebody's going to go after him. Right? That's just kind of how the whole cookie crumbles here. So I'll be interested to see, who ends up going after him in the end. My guess is, I think the Vikings will probably end up getting him again. I just don't think the Bengals are interested. And although I can sit here and disagree with it and say, that's not right, the Bengals should be interested. We need him. We need him. We need offensive guards, which I will say till the cows come home. We don't run the team. And the Bengals are going to go after whoever they think is the best option and whoever they want. So at the end of the day, we can all give our opinions. We can all give our theories and say what should happen. But at the end of the day, what should happen is not what Cincinnati's going to do. They're going to do whatever they think is best. Again, we'll have to wait and see. But I thought this was kind of interesting to talk about because, again, this has been talked about all over social media. Why haven't the Bengals signed him? Why haven't the Bengals signed him? I think because the Bengals, honestly, they might just not want him. But, again, if they are interested in him, then he'll get signed. But I think they're going to wait to see how the draft falls to us. Because, who knows, maybe in this upcoming draft, they draft 3 guards. And they have a lot of confidence moving forward that those guards can be guys who are starters. Again, that does come down to you're throwing the rookies to the wolves pretty much and forcing them to play when at the end of the day you could have a chance of having 2, 1-year contracts on veterans, have 2 backups develop behind them, and then slowly go in that direction. But again, we don't run the team. We're only bystanders, so we kind of just have to sit back and wait and see what Cincinnati does. So tell me down below your thoughts and opinions. It is what it is. I again, like I said, I'm trying to keep my judgment on, it's going to say the same. I think we should sign 2 guards, but I can understand that they, there's a method to this madness, I guess. I hope. I hope there's a method to this madness. I can only pray so much for this madness to have a method to it, boys. But tell me down below your thoughts, opinions. See you guys next one. Deuces.